I'm Debbie Brilling, and I'm the Executive Director of the Auditory-Verbal Center. The Auditory-Verbal Center is a center, not a school, that teaches hearing impaired children from mild to profound how to hear and speak without the use of sign language or lip reading.
What did you hear?
Moo.
Did you hear a cow? Oh, you heard a cow.
We literally teach these children to understand spoken language pretty much the same way you and I learn to hear. To detect sound, discriminate the sound, identify it, comprehend it, bringing it back out in a natural environment.
That's it. You got it.
Like a diamond in the sky.
Okay, I'm Allison Tucker. I'm an auditory-verbal therapist and a parent of a child with cochlear implants. There are principles, guiding principles of auditory-verbal therapy. There are 10 of them that help define what the approach is like. It's really more than just coming to therapy one day a week. Because you're training the parents on what to do, they get the ideas of activities they can do at home, but they develop habits. Habits of how to talk to their child, how to expand vocabulary, how to make the environment easier for them to listen in the beginning when they're just acquiring their language, how to have a quieter environment, how to take care of the equipment, how to manage audiological issues. So it really is teaching the family how to have a lifestyle that facilitates language development in their child and independence in their child to be able to function in the mainstream of society. Auditory-verbal uses no visual cueing. So whereas we will have natural gestures like we would with anybody, but we're not emphasizing lip reading. We don't use any sign language. We're not encouraging you to look at our face. So it's an auditory-only approach to train the parents to raise their children in a listening environment.
I'm Miss Shalay Talmore, audiologist at the Auditory-Verbal Center. An audiologist is someone who studies the ear, the balance system, and does oral rehabilitation in some cases, and fits hearing aids and does mapping of cochlear implants. Quite a varied field. We're basically the sister to speech pathology. We work in accordance with each other. Cochlear implant is another, it's not an amplification device like a hearing aid. It's actually a surgical device that's placed into the cochlea, which is the hearing or sensory organ, and it sends the signal directly to the auditory nerve in hopes that it gets to the brain and that it can learn and detect. It has two parts, the surgical piece, which is implanted roughly behind the mastoid part of the ear, and the external portion, which looks in most cases kind of like a behind the ear hearing aid, and that's the microphone piece, and that's the electronic part. The cochlear implant has to be mapped. It's capital M, capital A, capital P, then P, P, I, N, G. And what they do is they make all these adjustments with the computer because they can actually stimulate the nerve and measure how the nerve is responding. So it's a much more sophisticated way of getting sound.
My name is Cadet Sergeant Brilling at Riverside Military Academy, Gainesville, Georgia. I was born profoundly deaf. I wear a cochlear implant made by Advanced Bionics. I can hear and talk just like normal people like you. I'm part of the drill team, and I'm also involved in Boy Scouts, Civil Air Patrol, and I go to boot camps, and I enjoy outdoor activities. I went through AVC's program when I was about 3 months old, and they taught me how to hear and speak, and they put hearing aids on me. I got my first implant when I was 6 years old. Then when I turned 16, my implant failed, and I got re-devised 2 weeks later, and I can hear again. The newer one works so much better than the older one. I can hear music clear and people sound much better. Actually, a lot of my friends didn't know I had a cochlear implant or that I was born deaf until after we met the first couple of times. And then I'll tell them what this is, and then they'll be like, oh, okay. If I didn't have my implant, I probably wouldn't have the life I have right now. I wouldn't be at Riverside Military Academy. I wouldn't be on drill team. I wouldn't be able to have most of the friends that I have. We'll be able to talk with a phone, play sports, do all the fun stuff. So I'm really thankful that I have it.
My name's Samantha Beerling. I was born profoundly deaf, and I'm 19 years old and a freshman at Berry College. I graduated from AVC at 8 years old, and now I have a cochlear implant and hearing aids to help me hear. I was diagnosed profoundly deaf at age 2, and I immediately started the program. When I was just turning 16, I got the Advanced Bionics cochlear implant. Now that I have the implant, I can hear a lot more, such as my dog licking itself, the water from the water faucet, and just different things I never heard before. When I first got the implant, it was nothing but beeps for when you first get turned on. And my first word that I could hear that sounded I loved was spaghetti-o. That was insane because of all the beeps in each syllable. If I hadn't got the implant, I probably wouldn't be where I am right now. I would be signing, and I definitely wouldn't have the friends I have now. Actually, nobody really knows about it unless it comes up in conversation. If I can't hear them, nobody knows that I'm profoundly deaf.
I will say you have to catch these kids at birth, where the window of opportunity, so to speak, is birth to about 3 or 4 years of age, while the auditory cortex is still being developed. Once you get diagnosed with a hearing loss at birth or shortly after, you fit them with hearing aids, and by the time they're 1 year old, get a cochlear implant if the child is profound, and then you get them into some kind of program. Like I said, we're a center, not a school, so you would come for 1 hour a week, do therapy with the therapist, and we give mom or dad or whoever's bringing the child lots of lesson plans to go home and continue doing therapy every day, an hour a day, and then bathe the child in sound all day long. But you've got to get them young, and our kids are going to be here from 2 to 5 years, depending on the degree of the loss, and if there's other disabilities going on. 70% of our children have multiple disabilities. We only work on the hearing impaired portion, and when they graduate, they're age appropriate expressively and receptively to their hearing peers, needing no additional help, mainstreamed in the public schools or whatever classroom they choose to go to, not special ed, a regular classroom with hearing peers by the time they're in kindergarten.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
I like dumb deaf in the background.
Oh yeah.
See that little blinky red light?
You're flashing the world.
3.
I am? Nobody told me? Damn! Nice, y'all.
Hey, you might catch your husband that way.
Huh? Ain't that tacky? I'm gonna like it.
That's even
You
worse.
can't really.
Thank you, AVC, and thank you for your support.
I want to thank you for your support and everything you've done for us.